Thunder cracks, a wall of water devours Greece, and the man who caused it smiles. On Olympus, a warrior god stands panting, drenched in the blood of Poseidon. He avenged one life, but killed millions and lost an entire world in the bargain. Is this his victory or his self-destruction? And why did he do it in reality? Young Kratos, battered and bleeding, screams for a miracle, then offers his soul to get it. His Spartan army is shattered, his strength nearly gone. In desperation, he falls to his knees and offers his life to Ares for victory. The god of war answers. He becomes an unstoppable fury, slaughtering his enemies in a blind haze of bloodlust. The Spartans call it a miracle. Kratos calls it the beginning of his curse. Moments later, that same bloodlust leads him to tragedy. Ares tricks Kratos into razing a village temple. Inside, trapped and terrified, are Kratos' own wife and child. His blades fall and their lives extinguished by his own hands. In that sickening instant, the Spartan hero dies and the ghost of Sparta is born. Ash-white with the ashes of his family. He had been a loyal servant, a martyr willing to give all for the gods, and they repaid him with horror. The Olympians exploited Kratos' loyalty and took him for granted, fueling a sinister hatred inside him. One moment, he was a proud Spartan captain, the next, a pawn soaked in the blood of innocence. Now Kratos' nights are haunted by the screams of his family. He begs the gods for relief from these nightmares, and Athena promises forgiveness if he proves worthy, so he obeys. He slays monsters, conquers foes, all in servitude to gods who once betrayed him. He endures every trial they demand, hoping for absolution. But when the task is done, the gods break their word. They refuse to lift his suffering, saying no man or god could forgive what he did. Kratos stands atop the highest mountain, empty and enraged, realizing the gods have played him for a fool once more. He's been their tool, their monster. If Olympus will not give him peace, he will seize it by the blade. What does a broken man do when the gods betray him? Steel clashes against divinity. The blade of Olympus pierces the chest of Ares with a thunderous crack. The god of war, his former master, gapes in disbelief as Kratos drives the blade home. With a final scream, Ares falls. The first god has been slain by a mortal turned monster. Kratos stands over the corpse, chest heaving. He has killed his mentor and sworn enemy. By all rights, this should have been the end of his torment. It isn't. The nightmares remain. The hatred burns hotter. Olympus granted him the title of God of War, but not the peace he craved. In their eyes, Kratos was useful, until he wasn't. In his eyes, the gods are guilty of far greater sins than his own. On his new throne, Kratos seethes. Zeus grows fearful of the monster he created. The king of Olympus betrays Kratos under the guise of destiny, striking him down, stripping his godhood, murdering him in cold blood. But death cannot hold Kratos, not yet. He crawls out of Hades itself, rescued by the ancient titan Gaia. Betrayed by Olympus again, Kratos' rage explodes into outright rebellion. He raises the titans and wages war on the gods themselves. His rallying cry, "The gods will pay for what they have done." As Kratos storms the divine realm, the very foundations of morality quake. Is he justified? These Olympians have toyed with mortal lives for eons. Perhaps it is justice to topple them, or perhaps this is madness. A personal vendetta cloaked as liberation. Counter-argument, even the gods themselves warn him of the price of vengeance. In battle, Poseidon bellows that no matter how many gods Kratos kills, others will rise against him, and that destroying Olympus will only bring about the end of the world. But Kratos does not care. His answer is carved in blood. All gods who stand in his way will meet the same fate. He's come too far, lost too much to turn back now. If the world must burn for Olympus's sins, so be it. Every step up Mount Olympus raises the question, will killing these gods free the world from tyranny or annihilate it? Kratos doesn't ask. He only climbs, blades in hand. When vengeance is everything you have left, is there any price too high? The oceans rise in fury as Kratos rips the life from Poseidon. High atop Olympus, he slams the sea god's head against rock, gouging out his eyes and snapping his neck without mercy. In that moment, nature itself revolts. With Poseidon's death, a cataclysmic tsunami erupts outward, flooding the world and drowning almost all of Greece. Innocent men, women, and children gasp for air as their villages are consumed by waves. The very world Kratos once sought to protect is collapsing under his vengeance. And still, he presses on. Lightning has blackened the skies, Helios' dying gift, plagues ravage the land, Hermes' bloodied legacy. Souls of the dead scream loose in the living world, all collateral damage of Kratos' war. Each god he cuts down unleashes another disaster, another unintended horror. He wanted to kill the gods to save his own soul, but each kill scars the world further. Deep inside the palace of Zeus, Kratos finds Pandora, a brave young girl willing to sacrifice herself to quench the flame of Olympus. Her eyes shine with innocence and hope, a painful echo of Kratos' lost daughter. For a heartbeat, the Spartan's rage falters. He pleads with Pandora to stay behind, to let him face Zeus without her. It's the first time in an eternity we hear fear in Kratos' voice. Not fear for himself, but for someone else. Yet the relentless logic of his revenge won't be denied. Pandora insists and ultimately vanishes in the flames, leaving Kratos howling in grief. Fueled by this fresh anguish, Kratos confronts Zeus, his father, in a battle of earth-shaking fury. Thunder booms as father and son trade blows that splinter mountains. At last, Kratos overpowers Zeus and beats him to death with his bare fists. The king of gods collapses, lifeless. Olympus has fallen, Kratos has won. So why does it feel like nothing? Amid the rubble and darkness, Athena's spirit appears, demanding Kratos hand over the secret power he unlocked. The power of hope. Only now does he understand the cruel joke of his journey. All the carnage, all the pain, and for what? Vengeance did not bring his family back. It did not heal the world. In Athena's eyes, Kratos sees yet another manipulator craving power. He has been a monster, a pawn in a game of gods and titans, driven by hate. No more. Kratos makes a stunning choice. He raises the blade of Olympus one last time and plunges it into his own stomach, releasing hope's power to the world rather than giving it to Athena. A burst of blue light washes over the devastated land as Kratos collapses. In that self-inflicted blow, he rejects the cycle of selfish vengeance. He gives the little that remains of his life so humanity might have a chance to recover with hope in their hearts. It's a strange redemption. After all his sins, this final act might be the only truly selfless thing he's ever done. But did it actually save anyone? The world lies in ruin. Corpses far outnumber survivors. Kratos fades, wondering if all the killing and fighting were for naught, and if hope alone can ever wash the blood off his hands. He killed the gods, but in doing so, did he only doom the world he sought to free? Years later, in a distant land of ice and mist, a much older Kratos hacks down a great birch tree with deliberate, mournful force. Each axe blow is heavy with grief. The marked warrior who shattered Olympus has tried to bury his past. Here in the Norse wilds, he lives as a man, a husband, a father. But as the tree falls, so do his defenses. His beloved wife Faye is gone, and Kratos lights her funeral pyre with trembling hands. He is alone with his young son Atreus, a boy unaware of his father's bloody history. Kratos, once worshipped as the god of war, now prays he can simply be a better man. This is his second chance. It isn't long before fate comes knocking, literally. A mysterious stranger, the Norse god Baldur, arrives at their cabin seeking blood. Kratos tries to avoid the fight, pleading with the intruder to leave, but Baldur swings and Kratos is forced to unleash the beast within. A titanic brawl erupts. Fists crack the earth. The cabin splinters to kindling, the ground itself quakes under their godly blows. Kratos snaps Baldur's neck, only to watch the defeated god stand up, smiling. Baldur feels no pain, no death. The conflict has only begun. The ghost of Sparta can't escape violence for long. As father and son embark on a journey to honor Faye's last wish, Kratos struggles to keep his rage chained. The blades of chaos lie hidden under his floor, a reminder of the monster he was. He refuses to tell Atreus of the ghost of Sparta. He hopes the boy will never know that side of him. Micro payoff. When Atreus rashly fires an arrow in anger or rushes into danger, Kratos booms, "Control yourself." He teaches Atreus that anger makes you reckless. Don't be sorry. Be better. He growls, guiding the boy to learn from mistakes rather than wallow. Every lesson Kratos gives his son is, in truth, a lesson he is desperately teaching himself. Be better than who I was. We must be better. But the past does not let go so easily. At Atreus' most dire hour, the boy collapsing sick, cursed by a conflict between his godhood and humanity, Kratos knows the only cure is in Helheim. To get there, he must wield those damned blades again. In a quiet midnight, Kratos digs into the earth beneath his home and wraps the familiar chains to his forearms, the searing pain of their curse returning. Athena's phantom appears behind him, a cruel whisper. Pretend to be everything you are not, a father, a husband, a teacher. But you will always be a monster, she taunts. Kratos' hands tremble and then tighten. He looks the illusion in the eye and growls, "I know, but I am your monster no longer." In that moment, Kratos claims ownership of his past. Yes, he is a monster, but he will not serve the will of gods ever again. He will be a monster on his own terms for the sake of his son. Through trials in Helheim and revelations of his true nature, Kratos finally tells Atreus the truth. He killed his own father, Zeus. The boy's eyes widen with fear and confusion. "Is this what it means to be a god?" Atreus asks, voice trembling. "Is this how it always ends? Sons killing their fathers and mothers?" The question slices Kratos to the core. He kneels and faces his son, the fury in his voice now replaced by earnest pain. "No," he says firmly. "We will be the gods we choose to be, not those who have been. Who I was is not who you will be. We must be better." The cycle of children paying for the sins of their parents ends here. In this vow, Kratos finds a glimmer of the redemption he thought impossible. Not for himself, but for Atreus. That promise is put to the test in a final showdown back at their homestead. Baldur attacks again, targeting Atreus and Freya, Baldur's own mother. After a brutal fight, Kratos and Atreus subdue Baldur. Kratos holds the beaten god in a chokehold. Freya, though Baldur's target, begs for her son's life. She will die if it means saving him. For once, Kratos shows mercy. He releases Baldur and says with grave calm, "Enough." He tells Baldur and Atreus alike, the cycle of vengeance ends here. We must be better than this. But Baldur cannot let go of his hatred. He lunges for Freya's throat, intent on matricide. In that split second, Kratos makes a terrible choice. The same choice he once swore never to make again. To save Freya, he grabs Baldur from behind and snaps the god's neck. A lifeless son falls at his mother's feet. Kratos has saved a life by taking another. One life saved, one world, to Freya, her whole world, shattered. Freya cradles her dead son, sobbing, then turns to Kratos with venomous rage. "He saved your life," Atreus protests. "I will rain down every agony on you," Freya curses, calling Kratos a cruel animal who can never change. In her eyes, Kratos is the same murderer who destroyed her family, and she may be right. As she departs with Baldur's corpse, Freya vows revenge. Kratos stands silent in the snow, condemned again for doing what he believed was right. He whispers to Atreus that she'll never understand. Perhaps he hardly understands himself. He broke the cycle to spare Freya and teach his son mercy. Yet all Freya sees is yet another god killer who robbed her of everything. Even when he saves a life, the ghosts of his past damn him. Kratos and Atreus fulfill Faye's last wish atop the highest peak, releasing her ashes into the wind. But the question lingers. Has Kratos truly escaped the shadow of his sins? Or is he just one tragedy away from becoming the monster again? The skies darken. The drums of war echo once more. Despite all his efforts to avoid it, Kratos finds himself at the center of an oncoming apocalypse, Ragnarok. The Allfather Odin's deceptions have sown chaos among the 9 realms. Realms freeze, giants vanish, the dead walk. Kratos wanted no part in any prophecy or pantheon feud, yet destiny has a way of dragging him in. As armies of elves, dwarves, valkyries, and even the god Thor himself converge, Kratos must make a choice. Stand aside and risk his son's life, or lead the charge to end Odin's tyranny. The Spartan general within him awakens, reluctant but resolute. On the eve of battle, Kratos stands before a host of allies gathered from every realm. He clenches his fist and admits quietly, "I came to these lands to escape my past. I do not want this war. We have suffered enough." There's a hush. Those words coming from him speak volumes. Kratos, the eternal warrior, does not crave this fight. But his voice hardens as he continues. "Prophecy did not lead us here, nor will it win this battle. Wars are won by those willing to sacrifice everything. If that is the cost of vengeance, so be it." In that rallying cry, the ghost of Sparta and the father of Atreus finally align. He doesn't fight for bloodlust or revenge alone. He fights to protect the ones he loves and lay old ghosts to rest. He accepts the mantle of leader not out of pride, but duty. The army roars, weapons raised. Kratos blows the ancient Gjallarhorn, opening the gateways to Asgard. The final battle begins. Flames and chaos engulf Asgard. Amid the clashing armies, Kratos finds himself face to face with Thor, the god of thunder, in a battle destined to level mountains. It's a duel of legends, thunder versus chaos, and they trade earth-shattering blows. Thor's eyes blaze with fury and pain. Odin has twisted him with years of cruelty. "Don't you know what I've done?" Thor bellows, haunted by regrets. "We don't change. We are destroyers." He hurls these words like lightning, and here Kratos sees a reflection of his old self. A broken god convinced that violence is all he'll ever have. Micro payoff. Kratos does the unthinkable. He drops his own weapons, Panting, bleeding, he looks Thor in the eye and speaks, voice low and raw. No, no more. For the sake of our children, we must be better. The thunder god's hammer falters. A father's plea reaches through the haze of rage. Thor's heart cracks open. He hears his own daughter's name and Kratos' words. In that pivotal moment, Thor lowers Mjolnir. The endless cycle of destruction shudders to a halt, if only for an instant. Kratos, who once only knew how to kill, has now saved an enemy by showing mercy. It is a triumph of character nearly unimaginable years ago. But fate is cruel. Odin, furious at this defiance, strikes Thor down from behind, murdering his own son in cold blood. The Allfather's last act is to perpetuate the cycle Kratos tried to break. As Thor falls dead, Kratos catches the thunder god's daughter in her anguish. His eyes meet Atreus's. They share the same horror. Kratos silently nods. They must end this now. Together with Atreus and Freya, now allied in common cause to stop Odin, Kratos battles the Allfather, shattering his illusions and finally sealing him away in a stone prison. Atreus delivers the final move that ends Odin's brutal reign. Ragnarok, the giant cataclysm itself, then rips Asgard apart. In the last moments, Kratos, Atreus, and their friends scramble to evacuate whomever they can. The heroes leap through a mystic portal as Asgard explodes, consumed in fire and ruin. An entire realm burns and collapses into the sea. Odin is gone. The war is over. The ghost of Sparta has a long road ahead to become the peaceful guardian in Faye's mural. He accepts this, cautiously hopeful, scarred by the knowledge of how easily good intentions can pave the road to hell. He has killed to save before. Now, can he save without killing?